Good afternoon. Welcome to Mansfield Today. A very special chat today and a tricky one. So I want to chat about something that is a problem, has been a problem for decades, not only in South Africa, around the world, the decriminalisation of sex work. Now, let's put it in context. I'm not here to say that I'm favourite for prostitution, that I think it's a good idea that we push the environment, etc., and that it's good. Up front, I'd say, guys, it's not great. Avoid it if you can. It's not the place you want to spend your life in the world of prostitution and brothels. And it comes with a lot of other implications and vast effect on you, your life, your family, your children, your friendships. However, we do have a problem that's swelling and getting to a point now that is most disturbing. And I want to chat about why I do support the decriminalisation of sex work and sex workers. So let's put it in position here. In South Africa, it is illegal to profit or to solicit sex work. It's not only in various acts, it's also in the municipal bylaws. You cannot promote it, you cannot do prostitution, you cannot support it, and you cannot get involved in it. What has happened with this is that sex workers have been seriously marginalized. However, as you all know, and let's not be naive here, there are a million strip joints, and strip joints generally and often come with more than purely just somebody spinning around a pole. It goes a lot further than that. So we have problems, we have challenges, and we have to, I believe, decriminalize it. So in 2017, the government is moving in a direction where they did a report on trying to decriminalize sex offences. Totally unsuccessful. That report focused primarily on rehabilitating sex workers. Whichever idiot thought that up, it's ridiculous. Okay. This is an activity that takes place. It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest profession that the world has known, and it goes on everywhere. So we still criminalize it, both for the person who is taking the role of the prostitute, whether it be male or female, and the person who is buying that service. They are both criminals. Let's put it in context of the world today. In 52% of the countries in the world, prostitution is legal. In 12%, it is, we call it limitation legal. So there are certain conditions and rules and environments in which it's acceptable. And then it's illegal in 35% of the world. In South Africa, we believe there are between 132,000 and 182,000 active sex workers. So it's quite a number of people, but that's what is expected, but unknown. I'm coming back to it. We don't know really, because those are numbers that are guesstimated and actuaries put them together. And that spread of 50,000 shows on a bell curve that we don't know what is going on here and how big the business is in South Africa. Then a friend of mine, Elder Benetti, asked a question, and this is an Elder, I did a bit of research, so I'll answer this for you. Elder asked, do we pay too much for sex in this country? So Elder, here are a couple of thoughts, okay? The hourly rates in US dollars, the most expensive countries are Australia, Germany, Singapore, and the UK, and it's about $350 an hour. Poland follows at $320 an hour, and then South Africa falls in the next group. Belgium, Japan, New Zealand, and our own South Africa, where it's about $300 an hour. So Elder, I've answered your question. If you feel you're paying too much, don't get uncomfortable. Now, back on a serious note, during COVID, a lot of things happened. We found, and this is in a lot of cases, that sex workers continue their work, but a lot of harassment, police harassment, abuse, etc. And it came to the fore during this period that something has to be done about not, people confuse making it legal and decriminalizing it. Okay. I believe that a limited legal environment is the best environment where we know what's going on, sexually transmitted diseases are kept under control, and these people, it's a choice they make. And people who partake in the activity, it's a choice they make. It's freedom of choice. Okay. Who are we to decide what they should or shouldn't do? The former governments, way back in the early ages before the modern era, They were ruthless about this, and a lot of it had religious inclinations, but they were ruthless about that both the client and the sex worker were seriously out of kilter, should go to jail. There were some pretty harsh orders around this case, but it never stopped it. It never changed it. The big problem that I see, okay, is if you keep it undercover, pimps take over, there's sex trafficking. It drags young people into it. It goes undercover. And when it goes undercover, it comes with drugs, vehicle theft, and I can carry on and on and on. Bottom line is it's time that we wake up and find a way of a practice that's been around for thousands of years, is decriminalized, but managed in the interests of all people involved. Once again, I'm not judging or promoting prostitution, strip joints, etc. It's not my job. My job is to give you a picture of what we deal with and what people face and the abuse certain people face, because there is no structure that allows them to do what they believe is acceptable. End of the day is recently, and I'm talking about in the last 6-8 months, Parliament is pushing and looking at a way of decriminalizing it, in the interest of the sex worker, in the interest of health, in the interest of statistics, in the interest of giving them the protection from authorities and abuse. And I'm not saying that every policeman's out there to take advantage of a sex worker, but you can imagine when someone is caught in the act of soliciting or partaking in the practice, that a lot of pressure can put on them to pay bribes, to offer favors, etc. So where we are now, I would like us all to think about this. And please take a religious or a puritanical hat off here. It's not what it's about. It's about a practice that's ongoing. It's commonplace throughout the country, throughout the world. And the more you decriminalize it, the less chance of criminal activity in the back of it taking place. Think about it, guys. As I said, I'm not promoting one way or the other, but I really believe this needs to be cleaned up and sorted out in the interest of all people, not in the sex workers, not only people partaking in it, but in the criminalization of so many activities in our country altogether. The less criminalization there is, the less court cases are required, the less pressure on nonsense issues. Thanks for listening. Watch next week. I've got something interesting to share with you. Thank you. Cheers.